Minimum wages increased by a whopping 77% in 4 years as President Granger announces massive retroactive salary increases. Stay with us for the next half an hour as we take you through the major stories covered during the week of November 9 to 15. In an address to the nation on Wednesday, His Excellency President David Granger announced that for the second time around, public servants can expect a massive tax-free retroactive salary increase. This will have a positive impact on the lives of many Guyanese.
With the minimum wage climbing, public servants earning between $64,200 to $99,999 will this year see a 9% increase in their salaries. The increase will be retroactive from January 1, 2019. The increases will be applied to members of the public sector, including teachers, nurses, doctors, members of the Guyana Defense and Police Forces, and security services. His Excellency President David Granger made the announcement on Wednesday.
Public servants provide public goods and services which benefit everyone and every sector of the economy. The APNU-AFC coalition is committed to creating a proficient, professional, highly motivated and well-paid public service. Your government is committed to good governance and to ensuring that all Guyanese can enjoy the good life.
At the same time, public sector workers currently within the $100,000 to $999,000 bracket will see an increase of 8.5%, while those earning above that amount will get a 3% increase. The increases to salaries this year have taken a quantum leap from previous years. Last year, the scaled salary increases ranged from 7% for persons making under $100,000 to 0.5% for persons making more than $1 million. The head of state also announced some significant increases to varying allowances. Station allowances will be increased by over 260% from $2,800 to $10,000. Hinterland allowances will be increased by between 100% and 600% from between $4,000 and $12,000 to $24,000. Risk allowances will be increased by 900% from $500 to $5,000. Clothing allowance for teachers will be increased from $13,000 to $15,000 and $22,135 to $30,000.
Public servants have received annual increases in their wages and salaries consistently since 2015. Personal allowances have increased significantly. The income tax rate has been reduced, and the tax on employers' contributions to NIS was removed over the last 4 years.
Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
The head of state explained that persons earning under $100,000 will benefit from a 9% increase, whilst those earning between $100,000 and $1 million will get an increase of 8.5%. The increase will be retroactive to January 1 of this year, and it is completely tax-free. This increase is significant in two ways. First, it brings the overall salary increases to 77% under the coalition government. Secondly, it means that all public servants will get more than 1 month's salary in their December paycheck. InfoHub's Isaiah Braffett looked at the consistently impressive salary increases for public servants since the coalition government took office in 2015.
Immediately after taking office in 2015, the coalition government embarked on a program to significantly increase public servants' salaries. This was necessary for the new administration after many years of negligible 5% or less increases under the PPP administration. 2015 saw a mammoth increase of 26% in salaries. The trend continued in 2016 that saw public servants receiving a 10% increase. In 2017, the coalition government further increased wages by 9%. The year 2018 was no different as the government continued to place the interests of public servants on the front burner. That year, they received a 7% increase. The PPP administration had taken 9 years to move minimum wage by just over 50% from $26,070 in 2006 to $39,540 by 2015. Now, in less than 5 years, the coalition government has increased the minimum wage by a whopping 77% from $39,540 to $70,000. This represents the highest increase in minimum wage in the history of the country. The newly announced increases will see public servants doubling their take-home salaries for the Christmas season, and come January, the increase will remain permanently on their paychecks. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
Following the huge announcement of salary increases, InfoHub spoke to several citizens to get their views.
On Wednesday, His Excellency President David Granger announced that public servants earning below $100,000 will receive 9% increase in their salaries, while those earning above that amount will get an 8.5% increase. The increases will be retroactive to January 1, 2019. This brings the overall total of salary increases by the coalition government to a whopping 77%. For public servants, this is encouraging.
Personally, I believe that the increase is a positive for most Guyanese. Given that this increase is in place and it's retroactive and even non-taxable, I think that's a big plus for everybody. They believe that it's a year because they were looking forward to bonuses, but I believe that the salary increase will benefit in the longer term.
I think it will benefit everybody around this Christmas season because they will have a lot more fun to provide stuff for their home and also for their families around.
For me, I think it's a good idea on the part of the government for the salary increase. I know many persons would have glad for the Christmas bonus, but for me as a public servant, I'm glad for that salary increase.
When comparing the figures to the salary increases under the coalition government to what the PPP administration offered under their tenure, Horatio believes that the increases will better offset expenses.
Previously, it's better than how it was back then, because I know there are many persons who may have bills to pay and so on, that at least this would help to cover that.
The newly announced increases will see public servants doubling their take-home salaries for the Christmas season. Under the PPP administration, public servants received a minuscule 5% or less salary increase. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
Meanwhile, Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency, Joseph Harmon, said the government continues to engage the public service unions on salary increases. This and more in this week's post-cabinet roundup.
Cabinet met on June 12th. Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency, Joseph Harmon, said the improved wage packages announced by His Excellency President David Granger followed discussions with senior government and union officials. This was preceded by Finance Minister the Honourable Winston Jordan's report on the annual review on public servants' wages, salaries and allowances.
The minimum wage to move from $64,200 to $70,000, an increase of 9.03%. Two, from $64,221 to $99,999, an increase of 9%. And from $100,000 to $999,999, an increase of 8.5%. And from $1 million and above, an increase of 3%. Of all increases, they will be tax-free and retroactive to January 1st, 2019.
Cabinet was also informed of the appointment of UG Vice-Chancellor Professor John Edward Green and presented with NCN's 2017 annual report, which was approved. The rebranded Eastern Airline will lodge a US $250,000 bond with the government and a US $200,000 with the Ghana Revenue Authority before scheduled flights can begin.
We do not want to have Guyanese people stranded again, having bought tickets and stranded either here in Georgetown or in New York, and you're moving from New York to Newark and all of these different places. We wanted to make sure that these things were put in place. And so the question of the bond was one sure way of satisfying that requirement, that if in fact that were to happen, that we be in a position to be able to charter aircraft to be able to get these people to their destinations. That's one of the thinking behind it.
Cabinet also noted several contracts, including several for new police divisional headquarters.
These contracts, therefore, are for the rehabilitation and upgrading of divisional headquarters in regions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to enable the newly appointed regional commanders and deputy commanders to be physically present in their respective divisions with adequate space and facilities to function efficiently.
DG Harman further described the proposed selection of opposition leader, the Honourable Bar Jagdeo, as vice president, as another attempt to elicit lawlessness.
They're testing the waters, I would say. They're testing the patience of the Guyanese people and their tolerance for lawlessness. Because clearly there's a decision of the Caribbean Court of Justice that says this gentleman cannot be president or prime minister. And so putting him as vice president, when the president gone, he acts as president. It's really getting it through the back door. So these statements we have to be very careful about when they are made by them.
Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
Residents in Region 3, 4, and 5 were able to engage ministers of the government through meetings held in various communities on Thursday. Here's a snippet of what took place at 4 of 20 meetings.
Residents of Denamstil, a village on the west coast of Demerara, were given the assurance that salary increases are not one-off. Minister of Finance, the Honourable Winston Jordan, noted that the increases will become bigger and better as the years progress and the economy transforms. He said talks in the opposition quarters opposing the salary hike are nothing more than foolish and should be outrightly rejected.
Let him know by tomorrow that the monies that have been allocated to our hard-working public servants, our hard-working members of the discipline services, is given now and forevermore. Amen. It is a sustainable increase that January you'll see in pay packet, next year December you will see in pay packet.
The monumental increases will be given once Guyana starts producing oil. While noting that the benefits are guaranteed, Minister of Natural Resources, the Honourable Raphael Trotman, stressed that residents must continue to support the coalition government. He was at the time addressing residents of Buxton, a village on the east coast of Demerara. Over at Container City, residents pledged to join forces to undertake several small projects in their community. This includes the construction of several bridges, a walkway, and clearing of trenches. Minister of Public Infrastructure, the Honourable David Patterson, while engaging residents of the community, assured that the materials will be provided to undertake the projects. Meanwhile, Minister of Social Protection, the Honourable Amna Ali, told residents of Atlanticville that good governance must continue. The minister reminded that the people of Guyana suffered for too long under the previous administration, adding that the coalition government has a track record of transformational development.
We must resolve that we want forward ever and backward never. We must not go back to those days. We must want development for ourselves, for our neighborhood, for our country. We must want a better life.
The community meetings continue on Friday in Region 6. Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.
Senior citizens who receive services from the Soesdijk Post Office are ecstatic with the facility's modernized upgrade. The $21 million post office was recommissioned on Thursday.
It was in a little bad state, but now it is better, looking better, look more comfortable and everything.
More comfortable and everything more comfortable.
That was 65-year-old Elaine Lawrence and 74-year-old Mertlin Higgins, who frequently visited the Soesdijk Post Office to conduct business. The extensive upgrades, which will allow the post office to serve its customers more efficiently, commenced on June 4 and were completed on October 29th at a cost of $21 million. The single-flat commercial structure has approximately 810 square feet of usable space and is equipped with the necessary amenities for a public building, including features that can accommodate access by persons with disabilities. At a small dedication ceremony on Thursday, Minister of Public Telecommunications, the Honorable Catherine Hughes, said space has been allocated for a new ICT hub and the Wi-Fi connections have been installed. She noted that residents, especially school children, can make use of the free service. Minister Hughes said her ministry is on a mission to refurbish each postal service outpost throughout Guyana. Among the post offices rehabilitated is Kitty, Georgetown, New Amsterdam, Berbice, and Regina on the Essequibo coast, and Wismar in Linden.
There's no question that we know where we started prior to 2015. And therefore, I feel I have every right to stand up and say I am proud that we have started a process of fixing and restoring and building so that our citizens can benefit from these opportunities.
The Plaisance Post Office is currently being constructed, while the one at Buxton is next on the list. For InfoHub, Ayana George.
A national action plan is being developed for the artisanal and small-scale gold mining sector. The project team visited mining operations in Peruni Region 7 recently to interact with miners to better understand their specific operations and uses of mercury.
The team is tasked with making recommendations for the establishment of a National Action Plan, or NAP, as it is being referred to as, for the artisanal and small-scale gold mining sector. The development of the plan is part of government's responsibility as a signatory to the Minamata Convention on Mercury. At Peruni, the team went to work on visiting mining camps, viewing and recording those specific operations, mining equipment, gold recovery, data collection, mercury use, practices, and fuel consumption. Leading the team was Kemroy Parsram, the National Artisanal and Small-Scale Mining Inventory expert.
So what we're doing here today is basically start of the process of the national consultants doing its what you call a national overview of the mining in Guyana, small-scale mining in Guyana. And that national overview includes the baseline on mercury use, as well as the practices used in practices used in small-scale mining in terms of mercury use and so on.
Parsham explained that reducing the use of mercury will not be done in a haphazard manner.
We recognize Guyana's situation that small-scale mining, we are heavily dependent on it. A lot of people are for their livelihoods and for the country's economy. So what we need to do is, in our approach, is see how we can reduce the use so that we can also look at dealing with the issue of the impacts of mercury.
The project is being financed by the Basel Convention Regional Center for Training and Technology Transfer for the Caribbean. Reporting for InfoHub, Nikosi Bruce.
As the government continues to ensure systems are in place to combat violence against women and girls, the Guyana Women's Health and Life Experience Survey report was officially launched on Wednesday at the Cara Lodge.
The report marks an important milestone towards eliminating violence against women and girls in Guyana. It proves much-needed evidence to inform decision-making and advocacy at various levels. Its result is a collaboration by the Government of Guyana with support from the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, United Nations Development Program, UNDP, and UN Women. In the feature address, Minister of Social Protection, the Honorable Amna Ali, said the report proves that there is a clear need to improve efforts across a range of sectors to tackle the scourge, while reiterating the government's commitment in this regard.
This report marks a huge advancement for women's health and rights for the first time. A study sought to obtain detailed information nationwide about the prevalence, frequencies, and types of violence against women. The government of Guyana remains committed to addressing the root causes of gender inequality as a way of empowering girls and women now and in the future.
Chief Operating Officer of IDB, Lorena Solozano, and Canadian High Commissioner to Guyana, Her Excellency Liliane Chatterjee, and other collaborating partners have pledged their continued support in assisting with the elimination of domestic violence. For InfoHub, I am Kelon Rover.
Guyana and Cuba relations grow stronger as the Spanish-speaking country is expected to purchase additional tons of local rice by January 2020.
Minister of Business, the Honorable Hemraj Rajkumar, led a delegation to Cuba for the Havana International Fair, FIHAV, which was hosted from November 4th to 8th. During an interview with the business minister, it was disclosed that rice imports to the Spanish-speaking country is expected to increase as early as January 2020. He relayed that the President of Cuba, His Excellency Miguel Diaz-Canel, gave his assurance during recent talks.
His Excellency has indicated his interest in continue to purchase rice from us. In fact, he's very serious because he indicated to me that his 2020 allocation, his 2020 budget, he has set aside a part of the budget to purchase rice exclusively from Guyana. And he is very much interested too in our ecotourism, where we could have a multi-destination. We have to think about multi-destination visitors from Cuba going to Guyana and from Guyana to Cuba. I think it's a fantastic idea, and we believe that the relationship with Cuba and Guyana will grow stronger.
More specifically, Minister Rajkumar noted that during a meeting with the company Al Imports, it was indicated that they will increase their purchase of rice.
The president of Al Import indicated to me that in addition to the amount of rice that they would have purchased, they also would increase that to 29,000 tons by January. So I'm happy that we are getting getting into the Cuban market. I'm sure that our farmers in Guyana and our rice farmers in Guyana would benefit from this venture.
The business minister also disclosed that bilateral meetings were held with South Africa and Kenya, among other countries. FIHAV is the largest international fair for trade and investment in Cuba, represented by delegations from across Latin America and the Caribbean. The event provides an excellent business platform for new companies in the market and those already established. The 5-day fair was held at the Expo Cuba exhibition site, Havana, Cuba. For InfoHub, Gabriela Patram.
The Kokwani Workers' Club, a central meeting place for residents of the Upper Demerara Berbice region, has been refurbished and handed back to the community.
A commissioning ceremony was held on Sunday, November 10, which saw the attendance of a host of residents and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Winston Jordan, along with Minister of Natural Resources, the Honorable Raphael Trotman. Minister Trotman expressed his satisfaction that the center has been refurbished.
When I first entered into this building some years ago, there was actually a church service taking place. It was a Sunday like today. And I was given the opportunity of speaking to the gathering after the service. And I've said to people wherever I've been that something happened in this building on that day that left me a changed person. And it would appear that it left Kokwani a changed place as well.
The minister had committed then to working on renovating the building. Back in March, a meeting was held with residents to discuss the way forward on the project. During that time, some $10 million was allocated. The former Workers' Club served as a recreational facility for bauxite workers in the 1970s and 80s. Today, it is an official meeting place and a venue for community events. It also serves as a research center and a hub for community development. Minister Trotman donated a number of items for sporting activities to the residents. He also committed a smart television to the facility. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
16-year-old Melissa Cummings now has a new electronic tablet to complete her school-based assessments. Cummings is just one of the dozens of students benefiting from a Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate Camp made possible through the efforts of Minister of Youth Affairs, the Honorable Simona Brooms.
According to Melissa Cummings, the electronic device will aid significantly in the timely completion of her SBAs, as well as help with research and information and communications technology ICT-enabled studying. She expressed that the device is a godsend. Cummings is one of the dozens of students attending a CSEC camp, which is being hosted by the minister at her residence. It was disclosed that most of the students hail from marginalized communities, including Plaisance, Lodge, and East Randolph.
Coming here, I have experienced that there is hope, joy, fun, and you could learn through experience. It's been great working with them.
Another promising student, 17-year-old Kurt Edwards, has emerged from a trying background to rise above his struggles. Edwards was in and out of school because of financial constraints and was forced to work to support his family.
It was kind of hard because I had some little finance problem with my old lady, and school used to make her want to stop come to school because I used to have to go and work. You see. And the afternoon that the meeting and miss come, and she asked me, and I told her my situation, and she said she would assist me. And since from that day, Mrs. gave me some major assistance and motivated me more to stay in school and finish my CXC to better my life.
Minister Brooms expressed her heartfelt commitment to ensuring that young people have access to the resources they desperately need to succeed.
This is all about supporting our young people in getting them, not only identifying the hurdles, but how do we support them in getting over the first hurdle. And I think once we start to give them that type of support, they get more stamina, they're more motivated, and I definitely know it will bring a different outcome and will have a better impact into society.
This is the second camp of its kind. The program enlists support from educators and private citizens who all share a vision for Guyanese youth. It was birthed to assist children who experience unforeseen difficulties in completing their SBAs. Educator Oren Morgan will be providing scholarships for additional classes to several students in the program.
I think we as educators cannot sit by idly and watch them knowing that they need the help, and we can give them this help.
Letitia Isaacs for InfoHub.
And in this week's Small Business Focus, InfoHub's Natasha Smith introduces us to the Bemidji Eco Lodge, which is leading the way in promoting ecotourism in St. Cuthbert's Mission Region 4.
Are you looking for an escape from the city that is not too far away? The Bemidji Eco Lodge is located in the Amerindian community of St. Cuthbert's Mission. We took a trip there and let's share with you our experiences. The Bemidji Eco Lodge is nestled in the pristine indigenous community of St. Cuthbert's Mission, located in Region 4. The Mahadios, Josh, a former forestry worker, and Amanda, a former nurse, are very hospitable locals who are working on realizing their dream of providing visitors to the community and the Eco Lodge with a unique experience.
I just wanted a building where I would have like lodges around all over in my yard and displaying like Amerindian handicraft and process of cassava and whatever, process of TBC straw. So it continued, and finally we decided that we can start something.
The Mahadios first built a hut where persons were welcomed to read, relax, or have a meal whenever they feel the need. In 2014, some students from the University of Guyana's Faculty of Agriculture visited the St. Cuthbert's community to do forestry studies and decided to stay at the Mahadios' residence. However, the hut was so small they had to pitch tarpaulin tents. Following this, the first lodge was built. Presently, there are 3 buildings which, when combined, can accommodate a maximum of 20 persons.
A 40 feet by 20, made of materials from the community then, indigenous, like leaves and palm we use. And around it is manicole, and the roofing is Dalibana.
The Bemidji Eco Lodge's Arboretum attracts tremendous interest from forestry students and other interested persons.
So we have something like 40 trees, species of trees there that we label, lines cut to them. And so when students come or other interested persons, they can go there and do some research or whatever they want.
On any visit to the Eco Lodge, persons have several activities they can choose to partake in. These include a visit to the farm and arboretum, hike the jungle trail, go fishing, canoeing, archery, or witness craft making. Persons can even learn to make traps with Rickford Ferreira.
This is what I normally do for a living by setting this kind of trap. This trap here is a trap that we to set and catch, to shoot the larva, the small rodent. So this is how we set this kind of trap, and it's very, very dangerous trap.
In the evening, guests can be part of cultural dances and storytelling, games, or partake in some homemade wine or indigenous food and drinks. Leland Clinken, an elder resident, even avails himself to tell of the history of the St. Cuthbert's Mission and answer questions that visitors may have about the community.
It is said that our forefathers initially came from the Karakara area up in what is now called Linden, and some also came from Kibbeleri on the Maikoni River many, many years ago, sometime in the 1880s.
The visit to the farm is also interesting, with 5 acres of citrus, sorrel, peppers, carambola, and other crops. While a visit to the Bemidji Eco Lodge can provide adventure and relaxation, it's also a learning experience. Persons interested in visiting the Bemidji Eco Lodge can call 592-627-2949 or text message on 592-678-9474.
This has been InfoHub Recap, which looked at the major stories carried during the week of November 9 to 15. Remember to subscribe to our website for more stories and follow us on our social media platforms. And also, do take some time to review the Diaspora Digest and other publications found on our website. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Goodbye.